Do you dread networking? If so, this video is for you. When I raise the topic of networking with coaching clients, I receive a range of reactions from, I don't know how to network, I don't like networking, I'm not good at networking, I'm an introvert and I struggle in meeting new people, I don't like asking for help. I've heard it all, and I totally understand. What I would say is very few people are experts when it comes to networking. So I want to share a 3-step easy process that will help you approach networking with confidence. But first, I think it's really important to reframe networking, because I think we can consider networking as being more transactional, like what can you do for me? Versus networking really should be about building mutually beneficial relationships over the long term. So at the end of this video, I'm going to talk about the difference between givers and takers for those who may be familiar with Adam Grant's book. So stay tuned to the end to figure out if you're more of a giver versus a taker. So where should we start when it comes to networking? First, we want to define who do we know within our network. I highly recommend creating a spreadsheet and thinking about colleagues, managers who have been supportive, they're great advocates for you. They might write a recommendation. Think about friends and family. Where do they work? Are they at companies of interest? Think about people you may volunteer with, maybe even people that you know in the community. What I've realized in working with coaching clients and devising strategic networking plans is that we often have fairly robust networks and we just forget who we know. And so also recommend going through LinkedIn. You can sort by school or company to see who you're connected with as a first-degree connection. Next, I recommend considering what is your goal for each networking engagement. And it's important to consider things such as, am I interested in a specific role at a company? Do I want to simply learn about a company? Am I contemplating a career pivot? Do I want to have a general networking conversation? So as you start reaching out to people, it's really important that you state your ask up front and you write short and sweet emails, because we all get too much email. We don't want to read a War and Peace email from someone. So I'm going to share a couple of different examples of outreach messages. So let's say that you're interested in a product manager role at NVIDIA. You see that one of your former colleagues now works at NVIDIA. You reach out, hey Sarah, hope you're doing well. Congratulations on your new role at NVIDIA. I recently came across this product manager role. Include the link in your message. And I would love to speak with you about your experience at NVIDIA and see if you have any insight about this PM role. Would you be open to chatting? Would love to buy you coffee. Boom, your ask is clear. You include the relevant information. Consider also attaching a resume if appropriate. What if you're interested in just a general conversation then about a company? Let's say that Disney is your dream company and you see that one of your former roommates from college now works at Disney. It's been 10 years, you're kind of worried about reaching out, it's been so long, it's okay. A job search is all about engaging your network. So you reach out to Chris. Hey Chris, I hope you're doing well. I know it's been a long time. I would love to catch up. I see you're at Disney. I wanted you to know Disney is actually my dream company. Would you be open to a 20 or 30-minute chat so I could learn about your experience? Please let me know. Next, what about a career pivot? How do you approach these networking conversations? So last week, I actually met with a coaching client who's interested in pursuing 2 very different paths. He is contemplating, do I want to become a CPA, a certified public accountant, or do I want to become an electrician? And he said, how do I know which path is right for me? And I said, you don't know right now. You simply do not have enough information. And so what you need to do is embark on an information gathering process. So I encourage this coaching client to reach out to 3 CPAs and 3 electricians to learn about their day-to-day. I said, if these conversations go well, see if you could shadow two of these individuals to envision yourself as a CPA or an electrician. Where do you feel motivation? And it can be uncomfortable, especially when you're reaching out to people that you may not know. But if this client were to position the email in such a way of, I'm at a crossroads with my career. I'm interested in a change, and I would love to learn more about your experience as a CPA or an electrician. And honestly, I think you'd be surprised at the generosity of people, because first of all, a lot of people enjoy talking about themselves, but also people really want to help. And I'm going to share some research below and in the notes section that really backs up this statement. So next, how do you thank people once they have supported you? It's really important that you think about investing in relationships long-term and you recognize the time and effort that someone has put forth in assisting you in any way during a job search journey or simply in networking. And so what I recommend is sending a follow-up email. It's so basic, you'd be surprised though how many people do not do this. Sending a follow-up thank you email and highlighting at least one or two things that really stood out from the conversation. So as an example, I met with a leader at LinkedIn a couple weeks ago. Really fun conversation. My follow-up email was a thank you that included feedback for her on what I admire about her leadership philosophy. And it made it clear I cared about our conversation, I was listening, and I really learned valuable lessons. Okay? You can also bake a cake. So bear with me, you're probably thinking, Colleen, I'm not a Betty Crocker. Well, one of my friends, I want to share this story, it's so fun. One of my friends, who also is a fellow YouTuber, she asked a recruiter for help with her resume. This was a number of years ago. She was completing graduate school and needed a job. So she found this recruiter, reached out, did not know him at all. And this recruiter, out of the goodness of his heart, offered to help my friend with her resume. As a thank you, she baked him a cake. This is so her, she's like very much a giver. And she took the cake to him and they ate cake. Okay, well, you don't need to go above and beyond like that. However, this story was inspiring because the recruiter likely is never going to forget my friend. And my friend will likely help this recruiter if he ever reaches out and asks her for help. I mean, this is where we have a mutually beneficial relationship where we have two people who really want to support one another. So what I'd recommend then, as I mentioned, is to think about networking from a giver perspective. So according to Adam Grant, when you are a giver, you're thinking about how can I add value to someone's life? What can I do for this person? Versus takers, when they approach networking, it's all about what can you do for me? It's all about me, myself, and I. And probably not surprising, Adam Grant talks about the fact that takers tend to burn bridges when they network. And I would say in my own personal experience, dealing with a couple of takers, I felt used. What I would say with networking is there can be a lot of trepidation. I don't want to, portray this process as being easy, like, oh, it's gonna come naturally. You'll get things wrong, you'll stumble, but you just keep learning, stay open. And I think what's really interesting too is coaching clients have said, Colleen, I did not want to network. I really didn't. It was like the last thing I wanted to do. However, I've really enjoyed the conversations that I've had. I've actually made friends, I've learned a lot, and I have job leads because of networking. And they're like, thank you for encouraging me to get out there. So if you need help developing your networking strategy, feel free to reach out. I would love to hear from you. In the comments below, share your own experience networking. I would love to hear from you. Take care, everyone. Until next time.